Hi, everyone. I'm Simone Simpson from Wondering Yoga Cafe Entertainment. Welcome to our weekly rundown. Today's topic, week 5 of alternate day fasting. I've been alternate day fasting 5 weeks plus, and today we're just going to talk about what's been going on in my week, where I am in the world. Obviously, I'm not in Vegas right now, not in Miami Beach. I'm in Chicago, but I want to give you the rundown for the week. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to see more of these videos, hit that little subscribe button. Those videos will show up in your feed. And if you like this video, remember to give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much. So today, what are we going to talk about today? Our Fab 5. So I want to run down 5 things. I want to talk about what I'm eating on my fueling days. I have done some experiments. I went from Vegas to Denver to Chicago, headed to Miami Beach tomorrow, and it has been a whirlwind of beautiful, amazing busyness, lovely busyness, and experiments in what I'm eating. And I just have to share it all with you. So what I'm eating on my fueling days, what I'm eating on my fasting days. That's the second thing. Tips to stay on your fast, on your fasting days. I have such a great tip because I've been in so many places. Now I'm in Chicago, our Windy City. That's our third thing. Fourth thing, we're going to talk about results. And number 5, we are going to talk about today's dinner because we always have to talk about dinner. I've already eaten, but I want to share it with you. So that's our 5. Let's get started with our weekly rundown. So number 1, what I am eating on my fueling days. So today's an eating day for me, and I call those fueling days. When you alternate day fast, you see so very clearly that eating is fuel. You see what you put in your body that gives you energy and what you put in your body that doesn't. It's so clear. So today I was invited to breakfast. My best friend's father invited us all out to breakfast today, but he wanted to have breakfast at 1. I'm like, perfect, because I like to eat breakfast. Even on my fueling days, I still like to postpone and eat as late as possible so I can get just more of a fast in that morning. So I thought, great, I'll get up, I can go for a walk, get some exercise in a fasted state. I did invite all the attendees of breakfast to the morning walk. I was still there solo, but the invitation was there. But invited them there. So what I had for breakfast, I had 2 scrambled eggs and turkey sausage. They were patties, 1 slice of rye bread with butter, and hash browns came on my plate, but I didn't eat them. So that's a big deal. And so that's what I had. It's really interesting. I'm in Illinois. When they say 2 eggs out here, they're actually giving you 2 eggs. I've gone to so many restaurants and it says, oh, it's a 3 eggs that they give you. And it really is more like 1 egg that it feels like. This was 2 eggs. It took me about an hour to eat all the eggs. I literally ate about half of them, talked, ate a little more. Then when the meal was almost over, finished them up. So I said, wow, they actually gave me 2 eggs. It felt to me like more than 2 eggs. So that's what I had for my late breakfast. And I'm looking at lower carbs. And so with the rye bread, that's about 12 carbs, give or take. So about 12 grams of carbs, not much with the egg, not much with the turkey sausage. So I wanted to keep it low. And so, yeah, so that was what I'm eating on my fueling days. I'll save the dinner for the 5th Fab 5, so I'll save that for a little bit later in today's weekly rundown. But when you reduce your carbs, it really takes away your appetite. Look at this background. Like, this is real. Like, this is what it looks like. I'm like, this looks like a picture, a painting. Look at that. This is real. Like, this is my best friend's, this is their parents' yard or whatever you call it. I called it a shared space, but they're like, no, it's not shared. Look, I'm going to show you. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm in their gazebo. So anyway, yeah, so that is what I had some pistachios when I got back to the house. I bought them. I ordered them yesterday. I had them delivered. That is where I get usually the majority of my carbs on my fueling days is from pistachios, but it's a snack. It's healthy. It's a whole food. So what are you going to do? That's what I have. And what I am looking at, as far as, I like to give a quote with each of the 5 fabulous tips that we go through. When you make about a half dozen changes, a half dozen, that's 6 changes. When you make about a half dozen changes, it makes 80% of the difference in your health, in your overall health. So a half dozen, I was like, what 6 changes are we really looking at? We're looking at alternate day fasting. That's a change. We're looking at lower carbs, definitely lowering our carbs. We're looking at eating whole foods, getting rid of the processed and eating whole foods. We're looking at drinking more water, drinking more water. We're looking at exercising every day. As I told you, I invited all the breakfast attendees today to a walk at the park. And we did walk after. So one of the attendees walked after. So my best friend's dad, so we went for a walk in the park after. And number 6, meditate every day. So those 6 changes will make 80% of a difference in your overall health. It's 6 changes that you make. So think of your 6. If you need to add a few more, definitely. I'm looking at the meditation being one. There is a link below, I'll put below, with a website that has a free meditation. It's a guided meditation, and it's a beautiful morning meditation that you can do. I do it morning and evening as well as when I meditate. So I will stick that link below. But yeah, 6 changes will make an 80% difference in your overall health. Those are 6 changes that are very doable. So there you go. The second tip of our fabulous 5, I want to talk about what I'm eating on my fasting days. I have had some experiments. So I was in Denver last week. I went from Vegas to Denver. I'm here in Chicago. I'm excited to be able to tell you everything that I'm doing. I have this philosophy that you really hold things in until they're solidified and done. So I'm still in that phase. We're still working things out and getting to that final phase of several different components of what I'm doing. I will share it with you, but I'm excited about it because it's definitely a teaching moment, a learning moment, and miraculous things all around as far as what I'm creating. But what I'm eating on my fasting days, one of the days was it Denver? Did I eat on one of my fasting days, or was it in Vegas? One of my fasting days I ate and I just didn't have energy. And the rule of thumb is if you have a snack on your fasting day, still make the next day your eating day. Don't say, okay, tomorrow's going to be a fasting day. That snowballs into you're just eating every day. Stick with that. And what you'll feel when you do that is on your eating day, you really feel like it's too much food. You start getting accustomed to the break your body gets on your fasting days and what that does for your energy, for how you're feeling, for healing. And you will start to want that fasting day. So if you have a snack, if you eat something on your fasting day, still make the next day your eating day, and just pay attention to how you're feeling when you eat on your eating day. So, but on my fasting days, I'm having coffee with almond milk and I'm having tea with almond milk. I have water throughout, copious amounts of water. But something that I was noticing, I experimented in Denver with having what I thought was a treat was having dairy in my coffee. That used to be my favorite thing to eat. And I say eat was coffee with cream in it. I wasn't enjoying it. I really enjoy the coffee with almond milk. It feels like I have more energy with it. So that was really, really a kind of a turning point for me where I was like, okay, and I'm in Denver. I'm kind of a vacation, but really I was working, doing workshops and everything. But I was like, let me have this. And it wasn't the way I remembered it. So we can call it still dogging it. There's Florence Scovel Shinn has just a saying that calls something still dogging when you remember something from the past and you thought it was wonderful. And then when you revisit that, it doesn't have that same wonderful effect. So that's what I've been playing with. I even had cream in my coffee today and I was like, I just wasn't enjoying the coffee as much. So I did order some almond milk. I had some delivered today with the pistachios, almond milk, and celery. So that is what I'm having on my fasting days is coffee and tea, copious amounts of water, and switching back to the almond milk. I did that experiment with the dairy. And something that the tip for the second fabulous 5 is when you change your mind, you change your direction. When you change your mind, you change your direction. You literally go in a different direction. Once you know what alternate day fasting does for you, it changes the direction you're going in. Whether you are consistently alternate day fasting, whether you're consistently every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, whether you have a snack on a fasting day, you are still going in a different direction. So when you change your mind, you change your direction. That's why just getting new information, new content is so important. For me, I went from a time where I was on plans that were telling me to eat 6 times a day, and that wasn't normal for me. I normally alternate day fast. I fasted. I would eat at 2 o'clock when I was in college. I would eat breakfast either at or my meal either at 11 or 2, just depending on what day it was, what classes I had that day. And I loved it. And then at one point I went on this health program. They're like, oh, eat 6 times a day. And I'm like, I don't even think about food in the morning. So it was nice to go back to that, which was normal for me, which was just not hungry in the morning. So yeah, so that's me on my fasting days. But change your mind, you change your direction. And when you know how it works, the benefits of alternate day fasting, when you know what it does for you, you're changing your mind about it. And once you do, you change your direction. So there you go. The third part of our fabulous 5 tip is our tip to stay on the fast on your fasting days. This is very important. This is where I would say take notes. I'm definitely going to put a scroller in because I like to go through all of the weeks and all the tips. On week 1, the tip was water. Drink water anytime you feel hungry. It works. I remember when I was a little girl, I'd say, Mommy, I'm hungry. And she'd say, drink water. And I'm always like, what? What are you talking about? So now I'm like, okay, I guess that was just something I was supposed to remember because it does work. Week 2, we talked about greens and supplements on your fueling days. I'm glad I reminded myself of that today because I've got some celery in there. I'm going to make sure I have some before I go to bed. Having greens and supplements on your fueling days makes it so that you're not having nutritional hunger on your fasting days. There are 6 types of hunger. Only one type of hunger is a hunger where your body actually is wanting food. The other 5, it's that you're needing water, that you're needing nutrients, that your sugar is low. There are several other reasons, and we'll go through that. We might have a little bit of an excerpt of the 6 hungers on another rundown. So definitely greens and supplements. And by greens, I'm talking about green leafy vegetables, anything green, and supplements. For me, like a really good quality multivitamin if you've talked to your healthcare provider, but a good supplement because again, we're just wanting to make sure we're getting all of those nutrients in. I like to flood my body with nutrients. The week 3, we talked about low carbs on your fueling days. When you low carb it, your energy goes through the roof and your clarity of mind is clear. So very important there. And number 4 was clean keto. So your carbs are low, but you want to keep it clean. It does make a difference in your energy and how you feel. For me, there is nothing I can do if I'm not eating well. Even if my carbs are low, if I'm not eating well, I just don't have the energy and the clarity. And when I'm eating well, when I'm eating clean and my carbs are low, it's like 10 o'clock at night and I'm wide awake. I just have so much energy and I like that. Whether it's a day that I'm working, a day that I'm not, I like having more energy. So that was week 4. Week 5, which is this week, is a really good tip that I looked at today, which is if you're going out to eat, decide what you're going to eat before you get there. I knew yesterday that we were going to breakfast today. And I also knew that we were going to be there at 1 o'clock. So I was like, great. So I planned my exercising in a fasting state. I planned to walk. I even invited everyone who was going to breakfast on the walk, although no one came, but I invited everyone. I said, I'm going to have eggs and I want like a turkey sausage. I didn't look at the restaurant. I didn't go online. I know that's often suggested, but I just decided, I'm like, I want scrambled eggs, turkey sausage. I said, I'll have a slice of rye bread with butter, not the jelly, because again, I'm keeping my carbs lower. And that's what I did. I didn't do orange juice just because the carbs kind of with that. I mean, I could have maybe switched the rye bread for orange juice, but I just didn't want it. And that's what I had. But decide what you're going to eat before you get there. And I saw other things. They even brought hash browns on my plate. Didn't eat them. I had already decided I'm having eggs, I'm having turkey sausage, I'm having a slice of rye bread, and I'm putting butter on that. I knew what I was eating, and that's what I stuck to. So definitely decide what you're going to have before you go. And then that way you're fine. And no one at the meal, I didn't talk about, oh, I'm eating low carbs, oh, I'm in it. There's no pressure that way. You just decide what you're going to eat, stick to that. So that is the tip for week 5 for our Fab 5 tips to stay on your fast on your fasting days, and tips to stay clean on your fueling days. So there you go. So definitely decide what you're going to have before. And then I wanted to look at our quote, what you know sets the sail, determines your direction you're headed in. So what you know determines the direction you're headed in. And that really does. Knowing about alternate day fasting, knowing about keeping our carbs low, all of that determines the direction that you're headed in. It just changes that just a little bit. And I know so often I'm out and I hear people talking about how tired they are and how they feel. And especially last week, and I was really spending a lot of time with people. And all I was thinking was, there's some tweaks you can make with what you're eating that's going to have such a difference. And I love it when the conversation naturally, organically goes to that. I don't like to pound anything into anyone if they don't ask, but what you know sets the sail, sets the direction that you're headed. And that is, it determines your direction. So there you go. And I have a goal and I'm committed in 20 years, I will be the healthiest I've ever been. In 20 years, the healthiest I've ever been. I'm on my way. And all of this is part of it. All the alternate day fasting, all of the tips, everything that I'm discovering, I'm on my way. So the fourth part of the Fabulous 5 are the results. So I am in Chicago. My scale is on Miami Beach. So I have not weighed, but I can look at my body. I can tell, I can look at my face. I feel like I'm the same. I don't feel like I've gained. I don't feel like I've lost. I feel like I've maintained. But actually when I was in Denver, I felt like I had lost. And now I feel like I've maintained that. I just feel like I've maintained. I'll know next week when I actually have my scale again. I might have to buy another one because I don't know if I'm getting all that stuff out yet, but it's in Miami Beach. Everything's been shipped. So I haven't weighed. So that part I don't know. I do have my tape measure. So I'm going to measure. I will be able to measure, but I'm also going to make sure I have a scale. I know what type of scale I have. So if I don't get physically to that next week, I'm going to make a plan. I'm going to be determined. I want to get my same scale. I don't want to switch scales. I'm going to get that one and I know how to do it. So we'll get the results in. So that is week 4, but the results. So week 1, I'll just go through the results from each week because some of you, this might be the first show that you're seeing today. So in week 1, I released 6 pounds. Week 2, I released 2 pounds. Week 3, there was no change. Week 4, 5 pounds released. And now I feel like I lost a little, like I released a little bit, and then I maintained that. That's what I'm feeling like now. So I'll let you know next week what's going on. I'll let you know next week. I'm assuming it's just going to be a bigger weight loss. And the 5th part of today's Fab 5, I have to remember our quote, how you feel determines where you end up in life. How you feel determines where you end up in life. So often, so many people are focused on what is bad and they just want to sit around and talk about what isn't working and how things aren't working for other people. And I was telling someone the other day, I said, my philosophy is you get 49 seconds to complain about what isn't working. And then I want to hear the ideal. What would be the ideal situation? How should this be? And then what's the first step to getting there? And then go get to work. Like, don't sit in someone else's living room and make them miserable by talking about something. Talk about action steps to causing resolution. And that feels better and you're getting something done. So that's how I feel. But how you feel determines where you end up in life. So there you go. So that's our quote for our fourth tip. So number 5, this is a fun one, is today's dinner. Oh my goodness. So what I had for dinner was the top part of homemade, delicious, yummy pizza. So I took the cheese, the turkey sausage, and the veggies, and I ate that and just left the crust. And I'm like, wow, it was just a natural thing. It was a super natural thing. So I was like, I didn't even want the crust. It just wasn't even appetizing. What really looked good. And I guess because cheese is not something I do on an everyday basis, but all I wanted was the cheese and the turkey sausage. There were some olives in there, some onions, some green peppers, and it was delicious. So that was my dinner. I'm going to stick the pictures in here so that you can see it. It was this yummy deep dish pizza that was made. So I'm definitely going to stick those in there for you. But that was today's dinner. And the quote for our 5th tip is come early and stay late. In everything you do, come early and stay late. That is with your career, with your business, show up early. You're supposed to be in, if you're logging in at 7, show up at 6:45 and stay late. Do more than what's expected of you. Get up a little earlier in the morning, get up a little earlier, meditate, go for a walk, decide what you're eating or drinking that day. Do that early in the mornings. Come early and stay late. That's something that I do today. I didn't work today, but I still got up at about, I think it was 6:30, 6:15. I think it was 6:45 by the time I actually looked at the time, because I wanted to write some things on my to-do list before I meditated. And then I did a nice 90-minute meditation. And then I took a nap after, woke up. Then I went for a walk. It's just a wonderful day. But getting up a little early and then stay late there are magical conversations. You allow yourself a state of ease, and that's a flow state. So definitely, that's our 5th tip. And I just want to say I'm on my way to being the healthiest I've ever been. I'm starting a new life. This is the 5th week. I'm on my way. And all of you are here, and I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you so much for watching. There is a weekly rundown every week. I'm Simone Simpson from Wondering Yoga Cafe Entertainment. This is our Sunday rundown, our weekly rundown. Today is Sunday. No, it's Saturday. It's Saturday for me today, but look at this. Look. I mean, doesn't that look like it's a picture behind me or something? Let's see what's over here. Suburbs. I'm in the burbs. So thank you so much for watching and enjoying this silliness. I'm in the windy city of Chicago today. I am headed to Miami Beach. So next week when I film, I'll be on the beach, back on the beach, back where my body feels the best in the water. I'm like, ooh, I'll be in the water tomorrow. So thank you so much for watching. Remember, hit that subscribe button if you want to see more of these. And if you like it, give it a thumbs up. See you next week.